Hey, que la que hay, mis amigos? Rocky here from SpeakSpanishFaster.com, and in today's video, I want to talk about preterite versus imperfect. Now, I recently did a video breaking down the conjugations to ser, estar, ir, and tener, and through those conjugations, I did the imperfect and I did the preterite, and I had some students ask me like, hey, when do I use which one? And that seems to be like something that holds a lot of students up. It holds them back, I should say. Not holds them up, holds them back. And this is definitely something I remember when I was in school. I remember a lot of students having trouble with the imperfect versus the preterite because they both mean the past tense, but they are used in different times, different instances. So I'll probably have to do numerous videos on this topic. So this video will be like a basic video, just touching on some of the key things that you need to remember about preterite and imperfect so that you can start using them the right way. And then later on, maybe in some future videos, we can get into a little more of the advanced stuff. So first, let's just talk about the simple conjugation of a preterite word or a preterite a verb. Let's talk about the preterite conjugation versus the imperfect conjugation so we know what I'm talking about. So let's just take the word hablar. If that's in the preterite, it's hablé, hablaste, habló, hablamos, hablaron. All right? So just so you kind of know, that is the preterite conjugation. Now, if we talk about the imperfect, it's hablaba, hablabas, hablaba, hablábamos, hablaban. So now you know, that's the difference. That's what I'm talking about here. So one is I talked, and the other in general is I used to talk. So imperfect, you could say in general, this is how I learned it, was used to is the imperfect. The preterite is something that happens one time, start, and it finishes. So again, the preterite are things that have been completed. So I could say, anoche yo comí pizza. So last night I ate pizza. Ayer yo hablé con tu amigo. Yesterday I talked with your friend. All right, so that's the preterite. It's pretty easy. It's just what it happened and it's done. So a lot of times it's something that we talked about just once yesterday or 2 days ago. I did this. It's over. All right, so that's how we would think about the preterite. The preterite is pretty easy when you think about it because, again, it's something that started and finished. All right, so boom. Ayer yo fui para el gimnasio. Yesterday I went to the gym. Started and finished. I went to the gym and it was done, Now, let's kind of switch to the imperfect because the imperfect is where there is a little more nuance with it. So we have, let's say, all right, yo hablaba con ella. So that is I used to talk with her. Now, we don't know if you still do or if you have stopped, but you used to talk with that person. So anytime you're saying I used to do this, I used to do that. When I was growing up, I used to play with my friends in the park. Anytime you're saying I used to do something over a period of time, then you would use that. You would use the imperfect. So let me give you an example of the preterite versus the imperfect. Again, comparing them. Same thing. So cuando yo era niño, yo jugaba con mis amigos en el parque. So when I was a kid, I used to play with my friends in the park, or I played with my friends in the park. But it's something I did over time. It's used to. So you would use the imperfect then. You would not use the preterite. The preterite, again, is something that happens one time pretty much, and it starts and it finishes. Anytime you're talking about something done over a long period of time, you say, you use the imperfect. Now, whether you're saying I used to do this or you just said you did this when you were younger, you still use that same thing. So you could say, yo trabajaba ahí, like I worked, yo trabajaba en Walmart. So I worked in Walmart. I used to work in Walmart. Those mean the same thing, but it was something that happened over time. It wasn't just a one-time thing. That's why you don't say yo trabajé in Walmart. So for instance, let's say if it's a one-time thing that happened, you could say yo trabajé con él anoche. You could say I worked with him last night, whether it was like helping him with his homework, or helping him with his car, or anything. It happened one time, so that's when you would use that the preterite. The imperfect, again, is something that happened over time. Now you would also use the imperfect on or when telling time. So you always use the imperfect when telling time or saying how old you were. So you could say like I was, 5 years old when this happened. So you would say yo tenía 5 años. So I had 5 years when this happened. But it's not yo tuve 5 años, it's tenía. So anytime you are talking about your age or an age in the past, you always use the imperfect. So anytime you say when I was 5, when I was 7, when I did this, when I was, anytime you're saying when I was a certain age, you always use tenía and then the amount of years that you had at that time. And you also always use the imperfect for telling time. So you could say eran las 7 de la noche cuando ella me llamó. So last night it was 7 when she called. You would never use the preterite with what time it was. You always use imperfect when telling time. Now, the last thing with imperfect that I'll touch on today is you always use the imperfect when it's setting up another action. So you could say when I was cooking, she called me. So cuando estaba cocinando, ella me llamó. So when I was cooking, she called me. So it's kind of an action setting up another action. But again, it's like when I was doing this. That's when you would use the imperfect. Remember, setting up another action. So again, let's cover it one more time. I know I touched on a lot of stuff on this video, and it's kind of difficult to explain like just in person the differences. But I also think it helps because it makes your mind focus and it makes you really dial it in. But the preterite we use, in general, and generally speaking, I'm sure there are some rules that I'll cover in other videos that might change, but in general, 95%, maybe 98% of the time, preterite covers the one-time thing that happened. So yesterday I did this, last night I did this. It started, it finished, boom. That's preterite. All right, very easy. The imperfect is where things get a little more difficult, but just remember this. Use the imperfect anytime you say, I used to do something, I was doing something, but we don't know if it ended. So it's really like there's no definite end to it. It's just, I was doing this. We don't know if you're still doing it or not. So you would still use the imperfect. So I used to do this when I was growing up. I used to play outside. Or you would use the imperfect even explaining, even if you're not saying when I used to do, or I used to do this, but I did this when I was younger, it's still something you did habitually over time. So it's something you did over time, then you would use the imperfect. All right, and then you would also use the imperfect telling time, always telling time in the past, always telling age in the past, and then you would use it for setting up an action. So when I was doing this, this happened. When I was doing this, that happened. When she was doing this, that happened. So anytime you're doing something that sets up another action, you use the imperfect. So I hope this video helps you out with the imperfect and the preterite. Like I said, I'll do more videos on this topic. One little video is not going to cover a subject that's so broad and so deep. But we will continue to do it. We will continue to get better. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, do me a big favor, hit the thumbs up, comment below, let me know what else you need help with. That's what I'm here for. And last but not least, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications so you never miss another video. And if you want to improve your Spanish, go get our free training at our website. I'll put the link in the comments for you. Click that link, it'll take you there, and you can start improving your Spanish so that you can become conversationally fluent. Until next time, hasta luego.